Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 3 January 2017. And I'm having a very good day. Oh man, those of you who follow the channel closely, heck, if you follow it halfway, you know that I've been working on and expecting my special factory order with Great Eastern Cutlery to come to fruition for, gosh, I don't know, a couple of years. And here it is. Today, my personal stash of Great Eastern Cutlery Northfield Unexcelled number 74 Heartland clip knives in Gabon Ebony showed up in my mailbox. Oh, it's a big deal, guys. I'm 51 years old, and it's like Christmas morning when I was 4. Oh, man. Just take a look at the tube. I love that racy-looking Northfield logo we've got now. Hammer tested, frozen, forged out of 1095 carbon steel. Oh. Look at that. And on the back label, of course, I will roll this for you so you can read it. I don't want to read it again because it's kind of long, and we read it in the announcement video. By the way, before I open the tube and show you the knife, I have to tell you, I have a whole new appreciation for knife makers, manufacturers, and retailers after this project. You know, I was just trying to get GEC to make a pocket knife like I would want it. You know, if I had a pocket knife in my mind's eye, what would I want it to be? What would I want it to do? What were my inspirations for it? Apparently, if you talk about these things out loud, and then you actually bring a project like this to fruition, there are people all over the internet waiting, dissecting everything you say so they can pounce on you with accusations. And there's things they would have done different. And they're very vociferous about that. And man, I had no idea. You know, just a little special factory order of 100 pocket knives, trying to sort of do it in an organized fashion and generate some excitement and all that. I never knew I could get in so much trouble. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I didn't set out to do that. I learned some things about myself along the way. One of the things I learned was I don't have a lot of grace when I'm under attack. So to everybody in the Let's Talk GEC forum, subforum on Blade forums, I apologize for conduct that my Lord wouldn't appreciate. And as it affected you guys, I'm sorry for that too. Wow. Interesting stuff. So let's get on to the positive, shall we? This is the knife. Or this is the tube with the knife in it. Let's open it up, shall we? And this is a little bit difficult as a review, okay? How do I objectively review a knife that I spec'd from a company that I love? Well, I don't know if it can be objective. I guess if you want an objective review of this knife, you might have to wait for a video by one of the owners of this knife. By the way, negative stuff aside, I apologize, guys, those of you who wanted one of these and weren't able to get one. I had no idea. I really had no idea. You know, I enlisted my two favorite knife retailers, Knife Ship Free and CollectorKnives.net, to be my retail outlets for this special factory order. I ordered 100 pieces, kind of a minimum order, in 2 covers, and I wanted to make sure that Derek and Mike didn't get left holding the bag. So I kind of, I wouldn't say aggressively marketed this order, a special factory order on the channel, but I certainly tried to generate some excitement. And you guys know, if you tried to pre-order one or early reserve one at Collector Knives, we kind of messed that process up. And when we got it right, they sold out in like 20 seconds. And the Gabon Ebony, the version you're looking at, they became available on Knives Ship Free with no pre-order today. And I don't think they lasted very long. And Derek didn't even announce he was putting them up. Yeah. So I'm sorry that the demand so outpaced the quantity that we made, but I just didn't know. And you know, when you're writing a check for thousands and thousands of dollars for inventory that has never been to market before, you just don't know. So next time I do one of these, and I sure hope there is a next time, we'll do more, and we'll do it differently, and we'll try to learn. Man, look at that thing. So this is the number 74 Heartland clip Northfield unexcelled pocket knife in Gabon Ebony with corset shield, nickel silver, triple line nickel silver bolsters, brass liners, 1095 blade, full flat ground, muskrat clip, satin finish, no etch, nail nick opener, 90 thousandths thick is the blade stock. Handle is about 428 thousandths wide or thick in pocket. Blade length is 3 1/16 inches, and the handle length is 3 7/8. Okay. Here's the full-size Swiss Army knife, serrated Spartan. Pretty close in size, isn't it? Of course, that'll be thicker. But you know what? A full-size but not overly large pocket knife, and the single blade thin profile 74 just weighs nothing, especially in a wood cover like this. So let's kind of look at I'm the guy that paid for these, right? I was the customer, right? A big customer. Bought 100 knives from GEC. I'm just a guy. I'm not a retailer. I'm just a guy. So was I satisfied? Well, I'm absolutely satisfied. This is in almost every way exactly the knife that I had pictured. Before I get into nitpicking the fit and finish and build quality, let me talk about a couple ways where this diverges from what I had envisioned and why it diverges. Okay, first of all, if you'll remember my drawing, in fact, I'm going to roll in the drawing, my marked up drawing of the blade right here. Pretty obvious from that drawing that we have a design change in the swedge. In the drawing, of course, the swedge stopped here, right at the peak of the clip point. Bill Howard at GEC must have thought, yeah, I know he did, he thought that just looked too cramped to the nail neck. So he ran the swedge back within about 3/8 of an inch from where the flat grind starts. And when I first saw the picture that Sue sent me from GEC, I was not happy. But the more I looked at it, the more I liked it. And then when I saw the knives in person, I really understood why Bill took that bit of editorial license. You can see how close that would have been to the nail neck. It just wouldn't have looked right. So I'm glad that he did what he did. Another thing, and this is a bit of a difference, but it's a difference I'm really happy with. I asked if he could, even on the wood cover, if he could make the butt square. And I know Bill doesn't like to do that with the wood because it's so susceptible to chipping out. So he didn't radius it like on my 77 Barlow. What he did, he sort of did a coffin profile. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of chamfered from about the top of that last rivet. It doesn't just curve over, it comes at an angle, and then it squares off. And by the way, the butt ends of these knives are ground almost flawlessly perpendicular. Just superb job. So those are the two changes, and I'm happy with both of them. Now the bone cover should be square without that chamfer. Let's go over this thing and look at fit and finish. What's the first thing I always look at on a GEC knife? You guys know what it is. Transition from cover to bolster. We got 4 corners on this knife. Only one of them can I even try to catch skin on, but they're very, very good. The fit of the ebony to the shield, really, really good. Blade centering, and I've sampled 5 of these. 4 of the 5 were perfect. One of them is just a little off. This, of course, one of the perfect ones. Back spring termination, quite crisp, clean, and straight across. There, that's better. Let's see, how's our back spring? In the closed position, it is flush, and in the half stop position, it is slightly proud. In fact, it's very slightly proud. I don't even know if you can see it, barely. And when it's open, it's back to dead flush. I was talking with Evan Nicolaitis a couple weeks ago about that half stop flush condition. We both came to the conclusion after much consideration, who cares? We'd much rather have a flush spring in the open and closed position and the action we desire than have, I mean, who leaves their knife like this and goes like this? It doesn't really matter. It just doesn't really matter. So how are our grinds? Let's look. Our satin finish is exquisitely consistent and very fine. The finish on the swedge, while different than the satin on the primary bevel, is very clean and shimmery and consistent. And the swedge grinds are super symmetrical. Just beautiful. I did notice on all of my 5 that the bolsters needed a little flit, which is not uncommon for GEC knives. For them to really look their best, they need a little flit out of the tube. And you can see they shine right up. Want to talk about pull weight, and this is something I forgot that originally drew me to the 74 frame for this special factory order, because it's one of the coolest things on any GEC knife. You know, some of us like heavy pulls. You know, Charlie Campagna says, give me a pull that rips my fingernail out. Then I got a man's knife. Then there are those of us who like, you know, lightweight pulls that are precise and kind of luxurious. The 74 main blade is sort of the best of both worlds. I don't know if you guys can pick this up. I think you can. Notice how the tang of the blade is at an angle kind of like this, and the back spring is sort of straight. So this comes in at an angle, and the back spring is straight. What that does is it gives us a pull of about 6 to half stop. But from half stop to fully open, it's a 7.5 or an 8. So when the knife is full open, just to break it off full open takes quite a bit of thumb pressure. I mean, that knife is solidly open. This is a working knife. I really, really like that. I sort of tend to open a knife by nail nicking it to half stop and then pinching it to full open. If I'm working with a beefier traditional slip joint, nail nick and then finish with the pinch. And this knife is so well suited to that, because to get it to half stop takes like no effort. And then there's some authority required to finish the job. I just love that. How about that blade shape, guys? I always say about a clip, there is no set formula for the dimensions of a clip point blade, but it has to be proportionally right. What does that mean? That means when you look at it, you have to go, oh my. And when I look at this blade, I go, oh my. Enough belly for slicing tasks and letter opening and such, but still a pretty straight ahead, forward, and needle-like tip. You know, we're not too vertical as we approach the tip, but the cutting edge still has some good piercing ability. Takes a fantastic edge. These are so thin and beautiful behind the edge. How'd we do in the blade well? Finished like a GEC inside. Don't know how well you guys can see that, but there you go. They just do such a nice job. In hand, that's where this knife really shines. This is a knife to use, guys. Look at that. We have a full 4-fingered saber grip with that thumb directly over the cutting edge. The kick acting as a finger choil. 4 fingers in the overhand pinch grip. And of course, in the draw cut grip, we can always get 4. In the hammer grip, we can get 4. And in that vertical draw cut grip, it's like it just melts into your hand securely. Awesome. You know, for those who say traditional slip joints have horrible ergonomics, you need a well-engineered modern folder for that. A bullpucky. These knives were fitting in working men's hands for for a couple hundred years before anybody put a knife together with Torx head screws and one-handed deployment. They just work. I'm really, really happy with these. Really, really happy with them. I just think that, especially, I don't know how the jig bone are going to look. They'll be out in a week or so. Haven't even seen a picture of the jigging yet. But just soak that in, would you? Doesn't that just sort of scream pocket knife? It does to me. I guess that's why I had them made this way. I really like it. Am I happy as the customer? Yes, I am. Will you be? I think so. Now, here are a couple characteristics I've seen in these 5. A little bit of variation in the Gabon Ebony. It's rare to see Gabon Ebony with any kind of figuring, but one of my customers, I think it's you, Damien, is getting one with a very nice blonde streak. Not super pronounced, but it's there, which is kind of cool to get in Gabon Ebony. And so that's that. And then I've noticed that of my 5, some of them are a little stiff in the pivot, which I'm happy to know, actually. These will certainly wear in and free up a little bit. And what I really, really can't stand is side play in a pocket knife. And they ain't going to have any of that. In general, the walk and talk is excellent. A couple of them are just a little on the tight side, but that should fix itself. Other than that, GEC did a phenomenal job on these. I'm sorry, guys, that you can't get one. I don't know if any of the guys who bought these are going to flip them. I guess I'll wait and see like everybody else. If they do get flipped, what are they going to bring? I have no idea. I have no idea. But keep your eyes out if you want one. You know, would this be a GEC Worth paying 150 for on the secondary market? If I weren't me, I would. Would I pay 250? Heck no. Heck no. This knife doesn't have any track record. Its collectability is yet to be determined. This is not a Tom's Choice Barlow in reputation, desirability, or collectible value. But would it be worth paying, 40 or 50% over MSRP to get one if you like it? Yeah, I think it would. But as of the making of this video, they are all spoken for in the Gabon Ebony. Keep an eye out on Knife Ship Free, guys. Sometime in the next week or so, the jigged bone will go up for sale, and then probably will go up with very little warning. You might call on Pump Tyler for information, but I don't know. And thankfully, I'm staying out of that. Well, that, my friends, is all for this one. I'm very happy, very excited. Don't know if you could tell. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.